Welcome to Love Them Knives. We've got a Bestech in here. And this Bestech is, well, it's simply the best. Okay. Now, this is the Mantidae knife, and I'm sitting here. Oh, I'm sorry. It's already, I clicked it down. Now, here it is. This is supposed to represent like praying mantis claws. So I get it. I get the design there. And this is one that Selena, the boss of Bestech, she has a son named Lucas, and this is his design. You know, her daughter did one called the Cricket. Well, I guess that's the American name for it, Cricket. But this one, and I did a review on that knife not long ago, and it's very small, way cool type knife. Well, this one is a little bit more larger and definitely more of a tactical looking type of knife. It is for sure, and you can get them in, they're going to make them in full serrated, and green and black and more green and more black and tan, and what else we got? I got the tan one, okay? 2.94 inch 14C blade, okay? And then this is the one that Ostap was helping out with as far as Lucas needing some people to put it down on paper and kind of refine his concept. Well, that's what they did. So Ostap L involved in this, ceramic bearings, liner lock, and all that, right? So overall, almost 7-inch overall length. So these will be available, and they're really, affordable. And they're, let's see how sharpable it is. Ooh. Okay. All right, me and my paper cutting skills, but this is, the claw, really kind of set up for that, isn't it? Probably not slicing the Thanksgiving turkey, but a little bit more for, really getting into boxes and stuff, opening them up. Oh yeah, well, it feels sharp. So here we go. Yeah, that's drag and and get into I cut through the tape and all that. So that would be handy little knife, and a craft knife as well, cutting through things. Don't put too much pressure on that. And here's the end of the box, Mantidae. So maybe a word for mantis. I never did look that up to see what that might represent. BG60. It's the BG60. This is the B because it's the tan. And there's the drop, which doesn't really drop right away, but you know what? I haven't had much time to mess with it. And I'm thinking this would be, it's already getting better as I mess with it. So it's one of those break-in things. Yeah. And also, I usually check the pivot to see if it might have been a little over tightened, just possibly. God, possibly. Not saying that it was, just saying that maybe that was, it's all of a sudden way better. Okay, I'm going to check to make sure it's not too loose now, but I don't think I've moved it, but an eighth right there. So there's that. What's the lockup on this thing? 30% maybe. There's room in there to disengage the bar without struggling. So that's not a problem. And you know what? This little underside piece here hits you in the thumb, and so you're not getting cut by the blade as you're disengaging it, so that's not a problem either. But then you got this kind of thumb ramp going on here, so you can put pressure when it's needed, or control up here. if it's needed, okay? Now, how much does it weigh? How much does it weigh? Now, yeah, now it's dropping. Doing great. Let's start this over. Let's start it over. Yeah, it does. It's sometimes, you know, if you watch my disassemblies, after I get done with the disassembly, sure enough, you know, it's just a whole different knife, because you're just taking the pressure off the pivot, putting maybe whatever your lube is in there, but not so much the lube as just giving the right pressure on that pivot, because it's all about bearings and it's all about how tight that sucker is. 3.38 ounces. What do we got for grams? Oh, we just flew past grams. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, 95.7 grams. So it's pretty lightweight. But you got a fairly deep carry, right? Fairly deep carry wire clip. But also, I guess you could grab it with your fingers once it's in your pocket. But, you know, that's going to let it ride pretty low. But they didn't set it up to flip that sucker, did they? Maybe that would have been just a little disruptive on the design, you know what I'm saying? So right hand only, big long G10 back spacer on that. And then look at the liners here, they're steel. There's your stop. I wonder what that blade stock thickness is. If I can get a handful of that. Okay, let's tighten right up. Yeah, about 3 millimeter, 2.8 at 0.11. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of that. 0.56, 0.55 at 14 millimeters. Wow, that's some fairly thick, isn't it? Yeah, well, you can get your fingers on it, that's for sure. And you know what? I can feel the clip under here. This part of it, I don't know how bothersome that would be over time, depending on how long your cutting task is. You know, I can feel it, but it doesn't feel like it's digging into me or anything, so it's not uncomfortable. It's just I can feel it. So we'll have to see over time, like, what does that do? But I usually don't engage in real long cutting tasks. They're pretty much digging labels off boxes, cutting boxes up, or cutting them apart, or, you know, that kind of thing, opening boxes. So, nah, it's not a real long engagement. Or cutting tape while I'm packing boxes, you know, that kind of thing. But this would be a great little, you know, just carry around, and, you know, even out in the garden, pruning and stuff, it'd be handy for that as well. So, make a great gift for a non-enthusiast, somebody who wants a general cutter, because this could be a craft knife. It could be so much, you know, different. Although when it comes to a sharpening, I'll be giving you a call, because I don't want to sharpen it. Okay, I know I've got the rod. I could sharpen it, but I'm not really interested in doing that. And that is a hell of a curve right there, buddy. That's a hell of a curve, Lucas. But ambidextrous thumb studs, all the good stuff. Kicks open, not a problem. Now, what is the detent like? Well, okay, it's good enough. It's good enough. Oh, man, okay, it's good enough. Really, I promise you, it's definitely good enough. It's snappy. You kick it open, it's snappy. Yeah, okay. So, no, it's plenty good detent. And the ergos are good, too. I mean, you know, this is pretty easy to get around here. So, not a problem there. Now, let's see what she looks inside. I think they said, I do believe they said that it had ceramic bearings. So, and I think all the Bestech ones I've taken apart do. So let's check this one out. And of course, I already did play just now with that. Yeah, it did. It did change the behavior of that pivot a bit. Let me see, what do we got? Is this a number 8 on this end too? Okay. So there's a screw that goes all the way through there, I'm seeing. So let's pull that off. And then we got a little number 6 right there. And that's it, isn't it? On this. I wonder why they went to a number 6 up here. It might as well stayed with the number 8 since they did it for the front and the back, but okay. And then this is the lock bar side, and there's that little body screw. Okay, do we have any internals? And I don't think so, and no, we don't. And you can see you got a ceramic D-tamp ball here. So let's kick this open, and there it is. Okay, but we did all the skeletonized stuff on the front, on the presentation liner. And then these two come out. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, now, let's look at this a little closer. Okay, and let's look at this. Kick this out. We got flats, so we've got something. Oh, right there. That's what do we got here? We got just grunge. Okay, so we've got yeah, that's where it's keeping it from spinning. Not going to spin to win on this one. Okay, so there, and your ceramic bearings. Put these boys together, and we're in. There's your disassembly. Yep, she's good. She's good. Wow, okay. Interesting knife, but yeah, a lot more useful than you might think, right? And I found myself taking knives that I thought were probably ones that were not that useful to me necessarily because of kind of the radical design, and found out that they were actually way more useful than I had imagined. And this may be one of them right here. I know, very curved blade, but definitely could do a lot of work that I'm engaged in, like cutting boxes open, cutting things apart, cutting rope, other kinds of items, pruning, you know. And so, yeah, there you go. And very inexpensive as well. Lucas, he's designing knives now for his mom's company, and Ostap stepping in to kind of help clear things up and tie up the ends. And it looks great. You guys, I'll give you the links below, and stay sharp.